All right, let's jump right in. You know, every so often when you're staring at just the absolute chaos of the financial markets, all that noise kind of fades away and a real story starts to take shape. A pattern, an unmistakable one that links charts that look like they have nothing to do with each other. And today, we're going to decode one of those really powerful stories.
And this whole thing, it really kicks off with a puzzle, a kind of visual riddle that's been hiding in plain sight.
Okay, so check this out. On the left, you've got gold just shooting up like a rocket. I mean, look at that clean, powerful move. Then, over on the right, you've got the British pound against the Swiss franc, and it's doing the exact opposite. I mean, it's basically falling off a cliff. But here's the really weird part. Look closer. Don't they look, I don't know, strangely similar? Almost like a perfect mirror image of each other?
So that's the big question, right? You've got a precious metal on one hand and a currency pair from totally different parts of the world on the other. How in the world could they be connected in such a dramatic, opposite way? Well, that's exactly what we're about to dig into.
All right, to crack this case, we've got to gather some evidence. First up, let's zoom in on the assets that made that incredible climb.
So Exhibit A, gold. You can see it right here, starting late 2022, it just takes off. It's a textbook bull run, almost a straight line up through 2023 and into 2024. And notice there are hardly any major dips along the way. But hey, it wasn't just gold going wild. Check out what happened in the US stock market. This right here is the US 30. You probably know it as the Dow Jones. And look, it's the same exact story. A relentless, powerful surge, all happening at the same time. So right away, we know this isn't just about one commodity. Okay, now let's hop over to the Forex market. This is the euro versus the Japanese yen, and what do you know? We see that same signature shape all over again, a really strong, sustained rally. So now we're seeing this pattern pop up across totally different markets. There's definitely a theme emerging.
Okay, so let's just recap what we're seeing on the upside. We've got this really clear set of features for the surge. It's sharp, it's sustained, you don't see a lot of big pullbacks, and this is key, it's happening across stocks, commodities, and currencies all around the same time. All right, now let's flip the coin and look at the other side of this puzzle.
So for every one of those epic surges, there was an equally epic spiral downwards. Let's go investigate the assets that just took a nosedive.
And here's our first example. You'll recognize this one from the start. The British pound versus the Swiss franc, or CHF. I mean, just look at it. It is a near-perfect mirror image of those other charts just flipped upside down. A dramatic, relentless sell-off.
So, was that just a fluke? A one-off? Not a chance. Here's the New Zealand dollar versus the Swiss franc. Same exact story. A massive drop. Are you starting to see the common denominator here? It's that CHF, the Swiss franc, showing up again. And just to really drive this point home, take a look at the Canadian dollar versus the Swiss franc. The pattern just keeps repeating. It's that same steep spiral. It's becoming pretty clear that whenever the Swiss franc is on the other side of the trade, we're seeing this massive decline. Okay, so we've got our evidence laid out. The big surges on one side and these steep spirals on the other. Now for the fun part. Let's connect the dots and figure out what is really going on.
This is the heart of the mystery right here. How on earth does a booming U.S. stock market cause the British pound to crash, but only when it's measured against the Swiss franc? What's the link?
This slide just lays it all out perfectly. Over on the left, all those surge assets, they're all about economic growth, stocks, commodities. But on the right, every single spiral we saw was a different currency falling against one and only one opponent, the Swiss franc. That, right there, is our smoking gun.
So the entire answer comes down to this one big idea, market sentiment. And this isn't about spreadsheets or earnings reports. Not really. It's about psychology. It's the collective feeling, the vibe, the optimism or pessimism of everyone in the market. And that feeling is what moves the prices.
So here's the story the charts are actually telling us. It's a classic risk-on story. Step 1, investors start feeling confident. They're optimistic about the economy. Step 2, they go hunting for growth. They start pouring money into things they think will go up, like stocks and commodities. And boom, that's our surge. But here's the thing. To buy all that stuff, they need cash. So step 3, they sell things they see as safe but boring, low-growth assets like, you guessed it, the Swiss franc. And the final result, this huge, widespread sell-off of the Swiss franc makes its value just plummet against pretty much every other currency. And that is our spiral. The surge and the spiral, they're literally two sides of the exact same coin.
So what? Why does spotting this pattern even matter? Well, because it gives us this incredible window into just how connected everything is in global finance.
So, what's the bottom line? What should you take away from all this? First, no market exists in a vacuum. A rally in US stocks can have a direct, massive impact on a currency pair in Europe. It's all connected. Second, these chart patterns aren't just random squiggles on a screen. They're a visual diary of human emotion, of fear and greed playing out on a global scale. And understanding that risk-on versus risk-off mood is the key to decoding some of the market's wildest moves. It shows that huge moves in one part of the market can create that perfect mirror image somewhere else.
So I'll leave you with this thought. The next time you see a chart making one of these crazy extreme moves, ask yourself, what's the other side of this story? Where's the mirror image hiding? Because now that you know what to look for, you're going to be amazed at the patterns you start to see everywhere.